Frosty here, along with Subtle Fraudulent. It's been a while. It's been about a month. I've been all over the world. I've been in MomoCon. I've been to North Carolina. I've been to Otakon. We all feel like dying a little bit on the inside. Not in a depressing way, but just when you're just exhausted, you're just exhausted. But hopefully you've been surviving the past few weeks with flying colors. You good over there, boss man?
You know what? It feels like a weight has finally been lifted. All right. I've been working on a long ass video for like months now. Like it's been like a snail's pace, obviously, but like, months. It's finally been posted and I can finally do other things. And then that's when you like realize, oh, I have to do other things now. that's so yeah, it's one of those interesting feelings, but it feels like I might have a little bit more time to do other things now. Check out the video on the YouTube page if you want to. It's almost an hour, so be warned. That is the second to last long video I'm ever gonna do. For the time being, I'm gonna focus on like shorter things because everyone's attention span is like. I mean, shit, they're already gone. Like halfway through me saying this, everyone's gone. They're like, damn, that was too long. It wasn't 5 seconds, like a TikTok.
Oh my god, that's like I know they said that the Vine era was like something a lot of people miss, but like everything didn't have to be Vine. Vine was
True.
fine because it was an option. It was okay. But like doing long form content in the current day, that's tough. But keep that in mind. We're gonna put a feather in that right now. We're gonna put a pin in it because we will be talking about the YouTube meta that's been established in 2023 in a few moments. But first up, GamesCom 2023 is happening. Opening day was yesterday, and they're moving on throughout the weekend. And I gotta ask you, out of all the announcements that they dropped on opening night, was there anything that stood out to you? Anything that leaped off the page besides Tekken getting a release date?
You know what really surprised me? Jeff Keighley's announcement that the individual who rushed the stage has been taken care of.
The way he said it was like with the undertones of "and it will never happen again." It's like what do you mean by that?
Yeah, like when it first happened. I saw it when it happened, but like it just felt weird because you didn't see like a zoom in or anything like that. You just saw like Jeff Keighley like responding to this dude, and then guy gets on the stage and he's like, oh, God, and immediately it's like, yo, can we get security? Is security like escorts 2 dudes off the stage, and he's like, I'm just so disappointed. I'm sorry about that, everyone, but like the show will continue, and then he just continued to do whatever. Second time I saw that, like I saw a clip of it, and you see Jeff's face. It was like one of those things where it's like if security didn't show up at the time they showed up, Jeff would have like body slammed. Yeah, like he would have like slapped somebody in the face or something like that because he was just like sick of all of it. Like bro, really? Because it was like, okay, so what happened was like some dude, it was 2 guys, but like one of them was out of frame, luckily. They were trying to promote their like Twitch channel or some dumb shit like that. One of them was off stage and was like, Jeff, what about the news about GTA 6? Is there any news on GTA 6? And he's like, oh, well, I'm not sure. I don't think there's anything on GTA 6. And then the guy just immediately gets on stage and was like, Bill Clinton would like news on GTA 6. And like, that's when
you're trying to get your 5 seconds of clout like the last guy, even down to stealing the Bill Clinton part of the humor. But the problem is we don't know anything about this guy. Like we learned our lesson. We're not giving you clout, sir. You got thrown out and you didn't even get nothing for it.
Exactly. And it makes no sense how that person was able to get so close to the stage that they like got in Jeff Keighley's face, because people you can't let some shit like that happen. Like because what is it, someone pointed out that I don't know if you remember this, but like Dimebag Darrell from Pantera, like he passed away, and apparently what happened was that someone like rushed the stage and like tried to like attack him or whatever, and he died. So whenever you have a situation where it's like a fan feels like they can get close to someone on stage, you gotta just assume it's danger and then deal with it later. Like deal with the like implication, deal with whatever it is later. So like security has to be there to be like, hey, no, you can't get up here. Simple as that. Even if they're just like, Jeff, I like you. Like,
nah, man, you needed someone to have that Brock Lesnar spear on deck.
Exactly.
I
Like,
want to see the Braun Breaker, the Bill Goldberg, the Troy Polamalu, the Brian. I'm talking about full shoulder in the rib cage destruction. I want to
like,
see that the inertia of the tackle. I want to see the torque turn that man's body into an acute angle.
all right, we don't need an X-ray on stage. Although that's good promotion for MK. You know, like Ed Boon just comes up, like you know. But
Not Jeff Keighley's cameo.
freaking what is it, Drew Barrymore recently, she was like doing an interview, and some like stalker showed up on stage and was like, Drew, you know, I came here to tell you that I love you, and you know, why aren't you answering my messages? Or and like immediately the interviewer like took her and was like, let's go back, you know, and security escorted that man off the premises. Like, is that hard to get that same kind of thing happen for Gamescom? Not escorting Jeff Keighley off, because it seems like he'll be fine.
Because I'm like, we need to get some security where it's like, you know, you tell them what the deal is. Like, you give them a rundown of the show program and have them know basically all the keynotes of what Jeff or whoever the presenters are going to do. And if it
Right.
says some person who is clearly not supposed to be up there even take steps, hit them with the spear.
Yeah.
The minute it is clear that they're going, like, because otherwise, like, if I'm Jeff Keighley, I would have been super hot. I've been super agitated because this is something that has happened already, and it's not like it happened so long ago that people forgot. Like, this has it been a full year and a half yet? Like, it's been relatively recent when the last time this happened. So it's
and
not
the
like,
main difference is that last time, you know, that kid, he snuck on stage. Like, he just blended in with like some presenters for like Game of the Year and showed up at the end. These guys at the very beginning of the show, like, just walked up on stage. They just ran up on stage.
Yeah, there was no disguising. There was no, we're in a group of people. It was, nah, you saw him. You saw him. You watched him.
I mean, at first I was like, why is the stage so low? But then I was like, is this part of the show? No. Jeff Keighley apologized to us, the fans, and was like, anyways, let's get this shit on going with, you know?
So
like, simple as that.
It's just like, hey man, I respect the professionalism on that level, but it's just like, Jesus Christ, like, how do you even, like, I'm getting tired of seeing these events just have no security because, like, in the back of their brain, someone's going, they're just gamers. What can they really do?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, all right, y'all gonna fuck around to find out. One day, someone's gonna get up there and be like, I always knew you were the reason that Halo died. Fa fa fa. Put hot ones to somebody. Like, that's not what we want.
Okay, so there were some like pretty okay announcements at Gamescom. The fighting game announcements are the ones that I really cared about. But what was Zack Snyder doing there? Like he showed up to promote a Netflix film, huh?
Nah, he dropped the Rebel Moon teaser, but he's also got a video game coming.
He, like, for real?
Yep. Indeed.
What was the game? Because I saw the Rebel Moon trailer and I was like, oh, that's nice. Zach, what else? Is this getting a video game?
Yeah, it's a double whammy. It's getting a sci-fi film that's already, you know, looks pretty good, and it's going to be dropping on Netflix. But before he showed the trailer for that, Snyder did confirm that there was going to be a Rebel Moon video game, and is in development by Super Evil Megacorp for Netflix games. Now, the problem is, it's Netflix games. So this could be very similar to that. Was it a Black Mirror? You know the game I'm talking about, where it had like a companion where you'd watch like 6 minutes, and then a thing would pop up on the screen, and then you made the decision.
Yeah, that was Black Mirror.
Yeah, so it could be something that's along those lanes. Because it's called Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire, which comes to Netflix on December 22nd. And Part 2, The Scaregiver, comes out April 19th, 2024. So I'm assuming those will be the video games and, you know, obviously Netflix TV companion apps. So it's not going to be something that you're going to be playing with your Xbox 360, Xbox One, or DualShock or DualSense controllers. It's going to be something that you're going to have a remote in your hand, and you're just probably going to be clicking specific options. And at most, interactivity-wise, you'll probably get a QTE or two as you get filled in with background knowledge of whatever lore setting or just the overall world building that you can have in whatever this Broken Moon turns out to be.
The greatest gaming experience.
Or Rebel Moon, excuse me, not Broken Moon. Broken Moon's the shitty map in Apex Legends right now. But PTSD aside, they announced Little Nightmares 3. They announced
That's nice.
Killing Floor 3 of all fucking things.
Look, man, video games. They also announced Delta Force. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ice-T ended up being in Payday 3.
Sure. you know.
Honkai Star Rail is going to be coming to PS5 because, I mean, of course it will be.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I get it, but I'm also like, I don't get it. What is it? A Tower of Fantasy also got announced for PS5, but that wasn't at Gamescom. But like all of these like mobile games that are available on PC, coming to console, like I'm fine with it. The Hoyoverse is strong. They had like a whole segment for the Hoyoverse. It was like what Honkai, Genshin, what is it? Zero. There was like Zenless something or some shit like that. That other
Zone
game.
Zero.
Yeah, that's that one. Which I don't know. Did you, when you saw the like logo picture or whatever that they had in the background while the devs or whoever they were like coming to like present the game? Do you feel like there was like a layer of like horniness that was on that like second half that like seemed strange to have on the big stage like that?
Not particularly, because I haven't watched the entire conference. Elaborate.
There was a just like a picture. It was like a logo for the game. Uh, Hold on, I want to see if I can find it. But like, it was like a picture for the game that was on the screen. I guess it's like the main like logo picture or like the splash screen or whatever for it. But the second side of it had like an anime girl with like leggings and like I don't know, short shorts or like maybe something shorter than that on the right hand side. I'm actually sending you the picture right now. I'm gonna send you the picture right now. But like, it was her on a car. There was some other character inside the car, and then another girl on top of the car. And like,
so the girl from Danganronpa, 2B, and Ragnar the Blood Edge. What's going on here?
see, there we go. Like the girl, okay, the girl from Danganronpa. Like there was like something about like her posing and like her positioning that was like there's a little bit of like horniness here, and I'm like it's kind of bold that they're like getting away with putting that on the big screen.
I mean, on one hand, sure, maybe,
It's like
but you gotta remember, this is the same. This is the same conference who had no problem showing the nitty and gritty of Mortal Kombat 1, and
true.
rated M for mature themes. You can't pivot. Like if you can throw someone showing getting their back blown out and intestines going everywhere, then you could probably get away with showing somebody getting their back blown out. Because I mean, we saw even on a lesser scale at a Games Award show, there was no problem showing that this guy was going to get his back blown out by a bear for Baldur's Gate 3 before that released.
Oh yeah, that was, and
So
then like the audience cheered, a bear.
yeah, so it's like I feel like the prude era is pretty much just kind of over there.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. You know what? I've learned.
But speaking of things where I'm like, I thought it was over. How in the hell is the Crew getting more games?
That was very surprising. Also, when I saw it, I was like, I was trying to think. I was like, who is this for? Like, who is gonna get this? And I immediately thought of you. Like, you're the only person I know who would actually like generally care
Okay,
about.
so I played the first Crew, right?
Yeah,
And I just couldn't be asked to give a shit. Like the game was very mediocre. It wasn't great. Then they had the DLC, which I played a little bit of, and I'm like, it's still kind of ass. I'm not a big fan. Then they made the Crew 2, which people have been telling me is actually a pretty decent game. But that's the problem. It was just a decent racing game.
right.
And I believe that the next game is Motorfest, yeah. So maybe the 3 is truly what's going to push it over because 2 specialized in giving you a lot of options. It wasn't necessarily as samey as it was before, but it had
My
some
thing
neat
is
things in
that
it.
racing games, like at least like at this point in time, racing games can't just be like normal. Like the Crew was just like a very like normal racing game. Like you could, get some nice looking cars. You could, do some, run the mill like races, and then that's pretty much it. Like there's some customization there, I think, but that was it. There was nothing like super special about it, but it gave you all the like basics of a racing game, and that's not gonna like push the needle for the genre itself and for like gaming in general. Like you need it to be like super, like it has to have something that's going to be that's going to stand out or be like exciting about it. That's why people always talk about Burnout, because they're like, well, I could crash a car and then it causes another car to crash. There's something like that excites people about it. And racing games aren't like the most popular of gaming genres. I mean, but it has its fan base. But with its fan base, there's like so many different racing games out now, or like series that are out now, that you don't have to buy the next Crew game, which I think was like a new series in and of itself compared to like everything else that's going strong, like Gran Turismo, for example. So it's like when I saw that trailer, I was like this isn't offering me anything like new.
Also, remember, you say all that about racing games. Remember, folks, that game has not shown anything outside of that initial trailer and that big talk that they talked about. And I'm not talking about the Crew. I'm talking about the other racing game that begins with a T. Do you remember?
No.
So there is a test drive game that's supposed to be coming out. Remember Solar
Oh
Crown?
shit!
Did
Yeah.
everyone forget? Because they did drop gameplay and leaked some of the gameplay. And by leaked, I mean they gave out a couple of YouTubers some content. But there are people who have uploaded videos. So like, we've seen it. We have seen it. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you didn't say a word to me and just threw that game on there, I'd be like, yo, Forza Horizon 6 looking kind of great. That's exactly what I would think. Because a lot of these racing games, they're kind of, I don't want to say that they're blending together, but there's a lot of those, remember those quality of life features, like having a racing line that, Gran Turismo and like the early Forzas and Project Gotham brought to the table?
Right.
Now there's games that aren't even racing sims that got that. Like all
Right.
the amenities and quality of life things that a racing game needs, all the games have it. Really, the only flaw of racing games is at some point, a lot of them just stop giving you reasons to do new things, or they just simply run out of shit to do.
Yeah, and that's why like they need something that has to like stand out, and if they don't have that, then like people aren't really going to pay attention to it. They're just going to like gloss over it. So yeah, like wasn't there a Forza Horizon game that came out like last year?
I want to say the Forza Horizon came out in 2022. No, 2021. But that was Forza Horizon 5.
Right. So it's like
hold on. Excuse me. Let me actually go check. I don't want to be a liar. It came out, 2021. Because it came out like a couple of weeks. Yeah, because I was like, it was really weird that Microsoft was dropping this and Halo Infinite like 8 days apart.
yeah. Yeah, shit.
Because I was like, I don't know. I don't think they'd do that because, because everyone was thinking like, oh, they're gonna shadow drop Halo Infinite on Tuesday. And I was like, yeah, I mean, but Horizon comes out like the Tuesday before. So I don't think they do it back to back. And well, they sure showed me. And what it showed me was Halo Infinite was not ready. But Test Drive Solar Crown, I will probably buy it and play it because the last racing game I bought was Forza Horizon 5. So it's been like over a year since I've bought a new racing game because if you just take the UI away, they all look the same.
Yeah.
Everybody's graphics are good now because a lot of the quote unquote identity for a lot of games has gone away. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. The old Test Drive games, A lot of those were arcadey. You also had games like Project Gotham that were arcade sims. Like it had arcadey stuff. You power slid like an arcade game, like you were playing like a Midnight Club or a Tokyo Extreme Racer. But the cars matched up to their real world specs and the feature set of a car. There were some realistic elements in play. So in that way, a lot of cars were different, but the skill ceiling was a little bit lower to acclimate yourself to those games because a lot of the cars had the universal power slide physics. Like there were some universal traits that were given to all the cars because it's an arcade game. And, you know, there was a specific style that a lot of these games were going for, whether it be Project Gotham, Test Drive, or hell, you remember how the Need for Speed games for like all the way from like Inception all the way to like 2012, every car you had felt like a tank until you ran into a player car or a police officer. Then all of a sudden your car felt like it was an annoying gnat. You could have been sent any direction. But now, a lot of games like adding this level of realism. And look, I hate the gamification of things. Like when it's like a game and it's okay to be a game, it's okay to be a game. I'm getting annoyed of some of these games where you'll be like driving and weaving through traffic and then you'll hit something and then it says totaled and now your campaign like got to reset and go to a loading screen because you hit one crash. And then you got to pay a fine to repair your car and all this other stuff. And then you get teleported back to like your last like safe house or checkpoint or whatever it may be. And it's like, bro,
I could just go outside and drive my own car if I want to deal with those kind of problems. Like, come on, man.
Exactly. That's why I'm just like annoyed at some of the decisions because I get it. You're aiming for this bar of realism. But when I put one of these in my hand, when I put a controller in my hand, the last thing I'm trying to think about is 100% realistic, you know, simulation. Because I would say leave simulation, the Forza Motorsport, leave that shit to Gran Turismo. Their demographic is you play this well enough and you truly dedicate yourself to the craft and learning how to car, you may not have the physical attributes to be in a 140-degree Fahrenheit 2-ton skyrocket racing between hairpin turns. But you will have the brains to know how it feels to do that. If you obviously get your skill level high enough.
Right.
You can't do that with like a lot of the other games out there, and that's fine. But I see some of the things that they like, the little things that developers do to like try to get the cars to sound more realistic, going to the dealership. And I was like, that's why these budgets are so astronomically high. You think anybody truly gives a fuck how the car sounds to where you have to go fly on location with a bunch of sound equipment and just get in the same room at a dealership for a private rental of the studio to have that car produce sound for you? It has never been, nor will it ever be that deep. Like with like Overwatch, when they came out with that developer update where they said, we wanted to get the ambient sounds of Paris. So we flew our team out to Paris just to capture ambient sounds of like what it's like to be in a France city. And I was like, y'all did all that, but you can't get your balance right. You got the time for that, but you couldn't give your players content. Like it's just a weird thing that you find out some of these companies are spending their money on instead of like giving the players something to do, or at least giving them enough meat and potatoes to sink their teeth into for months to enjoy the game. And it's okay if a game's only like popping for 6 to 8 weeks. It's fine. I wish some games would go back to that. But now they're releasing stuff so bare bones because they know if they want to compete, obviously capitalism is the way it is. If you want to compete for your fair market share, you have to release these games with nothing in it because you got to content drip and baby funnel feed the content to the players. Because if you don't have something new and something new and something new every 2 to 3 weeks, players are like, oh my God, dead game. It's so boring. There's nothing to do because nothing holds their attention span. But I also feel like that works, like this works to the detriment because if you have a game that has a bunch of content in it, and I mean a bunch, and you ship that package once, don't even worry about putting any DLC. As long as the game is a hit, it's fully featured, it has everything that somebody would want, you end up with things like Street Fighter 6 and Elden Ring. Because there's enough volume for something to do.
look at the like dumb conversation that's happening over Baldur's Gate 3 and how like Baldur's Gate 3 is just a regular, like a good game that gives everything to you. It's complete. You know, open, like from the package being opened, it is complete. And now they're like, is this threatening the way games are going to be made in the industry moving forward? It's like, no. What the fuck? Like, no, first off, it should be the standard. And second off, it's not going to change shit. Like, Baldur's Gate is one game that people really love and that a lot of people are buying and playing, even though they've never played D&D, even though they never played any sort of ARPG, any sort of like RPG, any sort of like anything related to that series, because the game is good and other people are saying like the game is good and you can fuck, you know, and that's it. And now all of a sudden like news fucking games journalists are like, is this going to ruin the way games are made? Is this going to change the industry as a whole? Is it a new threat? Oh my God, games are going to be so expensive. And it's like, no, none of that's going to happen.
You're going to get a lot of reviewers every time a game gives you a lot of character choice and freedom to, you know, create your own narrative. Is this the Baldur's Gate? It's like,
fucking hate it.
Is this the Baldur's Gate of Crash Bandicoot? Like, no, we don't. That is not something that we need to see for what Crash Bash Superstars or whatever the fuck that game's called.
Oh no, you're right. I forgot about that.
So, but yeah, like a lot of racing games could use a bit of personality. Like I'll give you one that I think should still be around, but obviously when you work with Disney, you never really know what that financial situation's looking like. But it's a Disney game. Some of y'all remember it. It's called Split Second. Which
was a Disney game, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what's insane about it though? I feel like it just came out during the wrong era. Like it came out when Burnout was making its final push, and I think Blur had came out within the same quarter.
Yeah.
So it's like it was a lot of self-cannibalism there. And you know, that's just gaming. But it's also weird when you find out like how much the executives who don't even really play games or know too much about games or what the gaming industry is really about. It's really odd to see some of the observations they make behind the decisions that they make. Where they'll be like, "Oh yeah, this game's got to be out Q4," and it's like, why can't it be Q1? And you find out it's got stuff that has nothing to do with your game. The company needs to find certain things to write off, certain things to squeeze into the budget, certain things to have under budget. Because if we push this to Q1, then we'll be over budget for this, that, and some other thing that we probably shouldn't even be doing. And then they pigeonhole them into being Q4, and the game's not ready. And then you end up with the last Battlefield game.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what happens. Like, look, you have situations where people don't even want to test their games properly, or if the games get tested properly, they're like, hey, yeah, there's some of these like really big issues that are happening in the game. It's like, okay, but like, is it going to stop people from playing the game? Well, I mean, technically no, but we should probably fix it. No, we can ship it tomorrow. Don't worry.
Yeah,
we'll fix it in post.
A lot of people were like, man, these stupid devs, and it's like, y'all don't talk about big corpa. See, that's the funny thing. A lot of times these developers, you know, they put their heart, sweat, and tears and their soul into the game. Big corporate says, nah, that goes against some corporate identity and goes against our mantra and mission statement for some reason, even though we're talking about the concepts that are in a video game, sometimes competitive in nature. And they're upset to the point to where they'll force their hand to do X, Y, and Z when the game needs some A, B, C, Q, and maybe an R or two. But for whatever reason, those developers, they know that. They hear the community, they hear the frustrations, but the people who are writing their checks are saying, you either do this or you're fired. And whether you like it or not, these developers, they have families. They got bills, and they got to feed them and pay them. So are we going to listen to somebody and make content creators and gamers everywhere happy? Or are we going to risk our job security because we decided to actually nerf Ilari in Overwatch 2? Now, I'm not saying that we can't complain about them, because believe me, I will complain about all the dog shit things that a lot of games do. But this fuck the devs mentality that social media seem to adopt is really weird.
100% is weird.
Like, don't get me wrong. There are definitely times where, yes, it's time to blame the developers. There's a level of incompetence here because they just didn't know how to make a basic functioning game. But there's some times where if you peel back the layers, it's like, what's really going on behind the scenes? Especially when you're dealing with companies like Activision Blizzard as your parent company, or EA and things like that. Like, yeah, sometimes you might have to look back and say, what are the executive decisions being made here? I mean, did you hear about the curious case of a game called Anthem?
Oh
And
boy.
how they didn't even really know what they were going to make, and then the developer team basically gets told by big corporate, yeah, the game's got to come out in like 6 months, bro.
Wasn't it also that like the company owner person or whatever like showed up to a gaming event and was like, yeah, Anthem, here it is, our game, we're gonna have a trailer soon, and like nobody knew that a trailer was going to be due by that point in time.
Here's the thing, they didn't even know what they were making.
Exactly.
Like, they didn't know the story, they didn't know the ins and outs, they didn't know exactly what the mechanics were going to be. And then when they showed one executive like a play test, man said, I want Iron Man flight mechanics. What? So yeah, this hover thing that you made here is really cool, but we need in-depth. It's like
everybody loves Iron Man right now.
It's like everything. So your game comes out in less than a year, and now you're telling us to basically rework the entire movement system. So they spent all the time on the movement system. It's like, what about the actual core elements of the game, bro? That movement system was hard, brother. What do you mean? And then you still find out these developers were crunched for like 16, 18-hour days, and it's like, come on, man.
Yep.
It's like, bro, we could have circumvented the Iron Man flight, because that could have been something that they worked on behind the scenes afterwards, and like Anthem Season 2, Iron Man flight mechanics. Every game doesn't get to necessarily have their No Man's Sky moment, because No Man's Sky was relatively independently developed, so you don't have to worry about big corporate. As long as you made your game, you could fix it as long and how in depth that you'd like, because you feel as though you owe it to the community, and that's a great thing to see.
I mean, look at two big examples of like how it's not always going to be a No Man's Sky moment. One old example, Street Fighter Cross Tekken. That game came out, everybody was mad about several things. It actually like got fixed and turned into like a pretty good game by the end of its life cycle. But by that point, people were burned so much that like it was too late. No one's going to buy the game. Now, people are like, yeah, everyone keeps telling me that game is pretty good. I kind of want to like go back and revisit it or whatever. And it got like removed from stores and shit. So, good luck. Recent example, Halo Infinite. That came out, free multiplayer. Awesome. I'm sorry. What is this season pass giving me? Oh, I'm sorry. What is it? What is even going on with this game? Everybody's burned by, the free to play version. The story mode was, or the campaign was good, but like no co-op, like really burned a lot of people, and now the game got a pretty big update that apparently has put it in a pretty good position. Like it's in good condition right now, but it doesn't matter to a lot of people because they're like, I played that game when it came out and I don't want to do it. I don't want to go back regardless. It leaves a bad taste in people's mouths, and they're not going to come back just because you like fixed it way later. You should have just been like, hey, we're pushing this back in order to fix the problems now so that you don't get burned in the first place, because that's enough for some people to just not ever indulge in the game regardless of it getting fixed.
Because you want to know something that's amazing about Tekken X Street Fighter, and which is why I was genuinely shocked that it worked.
Street Fighter Cross Tekken?
Yeah, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, like why it even, like how it even worked.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know if you remember, Tekken Tag 2 was only like about 7 months old by the time Street Fighter Cross Tekken dropped. And then, because that was March 6, 2012, they came out with like 2012 AE for Street Fighter 4 not too long after that. So it was just like, who came? Like, this game was destined to fail.
You know what's the crazy thing about AE 2012 or 2012 AE or AE and 2012 AE for Street Fighter 4 coming after Street Fighter Cross Tekken had its like little window of like doing stuff. Street Fighter Cross Tekken had like its original characters that were added to that game, and people liked those characters in that game. So you know what they did? Capcom was like, why don't we just take those characters and put them in Street Fighter 4, since it's running on a similar engine anyways. And now there's no reason to go back to Street Fighter Cross Tekken. It's like, oh shit, I really like Poison in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Oh shit, she's right there in Street Fighter 4.
Yeah,
Let me go ahead and throw that game out.
Certified. But it is nice to see that like games, and especially in various genres, have come a really long freaking way, really fast. However, there have definitely been some games where you look at it, and you go, I don't know if we came that far.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know if you played the last, I was going to say the Last Jedi, but Jedi Survivor. It is not a bad game, but it feels like it did not do enough to where I'm gonna acknowledge it as a full-fledged sequel to the first game.
Okay,
It felt like
fair.
It felt like a really polished expansion of the first game. But I think we're getting to a point to where technology, unless we get like a huge advancement, sequel games don't really hit like they used to.
Right.
Like, I don't know if y'all remember going from Mario 64 to Mario Sunshine. That's a leap.
Exactly. And you should expect a leap every time, but instead you get like Saints Row 3 to Saints Row 4.
Or, if we want to keep it, like, oh, well, 64 was a different console than the GameCube. All right, how about we go from Mario Galaxy to Galaxy 2? Like innovating on the formula, turning things on their head, making things fun and engaging for the player. Like after we saw what they did with Mario Odyssey, I'm afraid to figure out what the hell Nintendo is going to do for the next main series Mario game. Or how
True.
like Kirby kicked down the door and said, "Fine, we'll do like a semi-open world type thing too." And they made Kirby in the Forgotten Land. And Nintendo can make solid games. Who would have thought it? Only problem is, as we know, and this is something that I feel that gamers do a really bad job of. Sometimes you could just change the aesthetic of the game. Same game, 1-to-1, everything else, but just change the aesthetics of the game, and people will all of a sudden give the game a chance. For example, there's a game that's coming out. I forget what it's called, but basically when you look at it, it honestly looks like a weeb mod of Spider-Man PS4.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I saw like a trailer for it today, and people were like, "This game looks absolutely brilliant and amazing." And I looked at it and I was like, "This is like it's like Tower of Fantasy-esque." And
yeah, it looks like Spider-Man PS4 from the web swinging and like how the grapples work and all that type of stuff and how you maneuvered in. Like, granted, it's a small little vignette. It's probably going to be very different, but it looked very, very similar to that. However, the characters in the trailer were waifus looking like they're from Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail. And there were people who would say, "Oh my God, this game is amazing." Some people were then giving the argument that I just presented about it's just Spider-Man PS4, bro. You could just play that. And I saw a consistent theme in that group of threads where people were just saying, "Yeah, but this game has waifus." Like just the existence of waifus doing the cool thing is what makes them want to buy the game.
I mean, look at Genshin Impact. It's Breath of the Wild, but it has waifus. Like what do you mean? I can get waifus in this game. There's no waifus in Breath of the Wild. There's Link.
And the only other waifu is captured and not there and not around.
Exactly.
Unless they want to just keep rewatching that cutscene where Zelda's throwing it back for like 2 frames and people fell deep in love with that cutscene.
Oh, jeez. The internet, huh?
Never forget. The horniness is it is eternal.
It's too late for some of y'all. That's all that needs to be said there. It's too late for some of y'all. It's simple as that. Like there's no way that God, like it's just we're getting to a point in time where there are enough people who are online and see things online and then like think that is how we are outside, but no, I think mostly our generation, mostly like millennials and whatnot, are like understand the difference between this is online and this is real life. But once it started blurring into Gen Z, they were just like, no, online and real life are the same. I grew up with this. And it's like, damn, we gotta fix some of y'all. Like I saw something about like Gideon talked about like going out in public with his girlfriend. Like he was out getting dinner and like the waiter recognized him and was like, oh shit, Gideon, like dapped him up or whatever. And then he's like, sorry, bro, I gotta do this to you. And then tried to like pull off his do-rag. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, bro, hello? You can't just touch me like that. Like, what the hell are you doing right now?
Like trying to get wave checked in public?
Yeah.
Take off that do-rag. What are you preserving? What's under there?
It's like, bro, that's not like it's probably cool when you do that like online with your friends and be like, oh, wave check and post a picture of yourself or someone else or make jokes like that. But like if you don't know the person, you can't just do that. It's not like Gideon's gonna let you just like touch his forehead. Like the fuck?
It's so smooth. How you doing that? Like, I don't know.
But he said the dude like legitimately was surprised when Gideon like touched his hand and was like, yo. I'm like, what are you doing? So it's just like, it's surprising. Some people really don't get it. And we like, maybe it's our fault. Maybe it's our fault. We made all of this seem a little too real.
And speaking of things that I don't get, there's a movie coming out apparently from Twitch streamer and sensation Kai Cenat called Global Pursuit. And literally, they had it's about a 2-minute trailer, something of that effect, and it legit is just, do you remember Rush Hour? Do you remember Rush Hour? Because we remember Rush Hour. And now granted, I'm not going to say that the acting looked great or what I saw in the trailer looked great, but it legit looks like it's going to be like a YouTube special.
All right, pause really quick. Going back to that anime Spider-Man movement game, the web swinging waifu game, it's called Project Mugen, and that threw me off because Mugen.
It's weird because like I could have swore that like Mugen was called the Mugen Project.
No, I think it was always just called Mugen.
Never mind. It's the MK Project. That's the MK Mugen. That's what it is.
Jesus. Not MK Mugen. Anyways, Global Pursuit, Kai Cenat. Yeah, I don't. YouTubers making movies tends to not be a good idea, but okay. YouTubers making movies with them as the star tend to not be a good idea because we just got Talk to Me, which is a very good horror movie made by 2 YouTubers. So like it's possible, but not if it's their like vanity project, you know what I mean? So like this is obviously something to like make Kai into like a bigger star than he already is. And I mean like I like Rush Hour 1. It is coming off of Max very soon, so maybe he's capitalizing on that. But like I like Rush Hour 1 and 2, so I'll watch those again. 3 I don't remember.
Now keep in mind the full movie is just going to drop on his YouTube channel.
That's the interesting part. Like he's just putting it on YouTube. He's like, hey, it's mine. Watch it, guys. It's gonna be fun. It is nice that he got like a fan who made like a viral moment with him or whatever. That guy's gonna be like his co-star in the movie. But yeah, I don't get the point. But it seems like he just made it to have fun. And the people involved are having fun. If I find out anything else, then you got to worry. But like, if it's just like a fun project, then sure, whatever. He's got the money. I mean, my man's rich, so.
It's like you can do whatever you want. It's like he's just shit posting with his friends, and he has the budget and the funds to do it.
Well, hey, wait, we gotta say this as a disclaimer because we didn't make a podcast about this, but he can't do whatever he wants because he accidentally started a riot. But
true, but I feel like this isn't something that like I don't feel like this is a YouTube video where as soon as they filmed it, they just cut it up and just post. Like I'm sure this was done well before he even did that.
Right, for sure.
Hell, he was probably going to announce it at the end of the thing, but obviously things got hectic and you couldn't really do it. Maybe that's what his announcement was going to be. Because he never got to make that announcement because he was under arrest.
Remember when he made that music video with I Show Meat? Yeah. It was a remix of not a remix. It was like a bite off of a real song that we all know and love, and it was an attempt.
Hey, they tried it, man.
And so this is just another thing that seems like he's attempting. If it doesn't go too well, he put it on his YouTube channel. He'll get his comments. He'll see it, and he'll be like, "All right, guys, I did it, and I'll go back to the streaming stuff, anyways." Simple as that. Like, so why he made a homage to Rush Hour, I don't know. If he did it on purpose, then that's cool. If he accidentally made Rush Hour again, then that's funny. That's actually very funny.
So I do think that this is kind of a interesting thing that we have going on here, because we're going to pivot from that part of YouTube to a different part. Because as of right now, some of y'all already know, the number one's men's podcast in the world, the Fresh Fit Podcast, is not what you would call in the best light right now. Obviously, people have been making fun of them. People have been tearing them apart. People have been saying that they're a bunch of, they're nothing but a couple of jokes, stuff like that about their podcast. And trust me, if you even know who they are, they need no introduction. But what I will say is they came out recently with a little bit of a sob story about, we've been removed from the YouTube partner program and we're this and that, even though regularly it seems like the code of conduct and the violations that they have accumulated over the years have finally caught up with them, because there are certain things that the YouTube guidelines say that you can't do, and they have consistently done them. Now, it is weird to see that them going after a channel with 1.5 million subscribers, given the fact there's people with 200K, 300K, or even less than that are, part of the partnership program or verified on the platform, also break, but they don't do anything about it. It's interesting that they went after these two, which is why I'm assuming that one of the hosts of Fresh and Fit Pod, they had to piss somebody off direct. They had to be somebody specific.
Bro, okay. First and foremost, I think we talked about like their practices of copyright striking people who are using their content to like say anything negative about them. There's that, then they just started straight up doing false copyright strikes against people who they just didn't like. So that there's that, and they admitted to these things. They straight up, they never denied that they were doing these things. They just made it sound like they had the legal right to do it, and that they were using lawyers or some bullshit like that. If you haven't seen any of their recent content, let me give you an example of something that really actually happened on that show. Nick Fuentes, the boy who was banned on all platforms. You just name a platform, he's banned there. He's legitimately banned on PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
That guy, the guy who contributed to Kanye's rep being like fucking like beat up in the streets. That kid, he fucking they had him on to talk about the Jewish question. If you don't know what that is everything that Kanye was saying during that weird Alex Jones like run that he was doing. Yeah. So all the anti-Semitism, they just welcomed that onto their podcast and had not one, not two, but like 5 at least podcasts with this guy talking about these things. And there was one of their nightly show episodes where it was a lot of women there. There were a few black women there. Out of all the women who were there, only one of them like seemed to try and like challenge Nick Fuentes on things. And this man literally tried to convince everyone in the room that statistically, African American people are dumber than other races. He tried to say this and make it sound like it was a smart thing, and some people fucking believed him. And what is it? At least two or more. At least 2 of the black women in the room told him that he had the N-word pass, not the nigga pass. That he had the hard R pass, and they just straight up they're like, "Nah, man, you can say it. We're not gonna get mad." And he said it. He straight up said it. Hard R. You mean to tell me that those guys have no idea what they got deplatformed? What they got demonetized on YouTube?
Especially given the conceptions of having a person, because I don't know if you know this, and this is most, I know this is definitely true on Twitch. Most platforms, if somebody is banned on that platform, if somebody has been removed from that platform, if they have
Can't have
pushed
them on.
someone off the platform, you cannot have them as a guest on the platform that they're banned from, even if it's in a roundabout way of doing it.
Now,
Now,
apparently, YouTube has the same thing in play. It's just they never do
yeah,
anything
they
about it.
never enforce it, because there's plenty of people who I know for a fact have been banned, but they show up on podcasts, they're regular guests, and in some cases, the gimmick is I don't have any content because YouTube doesn't allow me to post anymore as part of the gimmick for their podcast.
Yeah,
But, like I said, Fresh and Fit is guilty of a lot of things, and YouTube punishing them makes sense. It's just mad weird that they're only picking on them. That's why I said they had to do something specifically to gain their ire that they didn't have before. But I think that whole thing about the false copyright strikes might have been what did them in, because that makes people look at you, because it also makes YouTube look like they're the bad guys.
you're right. That's the main thing. Like that's the thing that I've seen a lot of people saying, that they make YouTube look bad, because the moment that they do any of that like crazy shit, the articles are saying YouTubers do this, and so YouTube sees that, they're like, nah, we can't promote this nonsense. They got to get out of here. Plus, on top of that, seeing their recent content is like, oh shit, you really got to get them out of here. They have a Rumble, page, so they can go ahead and continue making content on Rumble. But like,
Do they have anything where you can donate to them? Because I feel like it's not like all their advertising revenue was taken away, and besides, they still have their check mark. They're still a verified YouTube channel.
baffling. Um,
Both their main channel and their clips channel are still verified.
baffling. Both their main channel, their clip channel are verified. I think it's only their main channel that got demonetized. Myron has like a second channel where he just like reacts to things and says a bunch of like stupid like right wing talking points for a lot of things, and puts it from the perspective of an ex-Fed. The clips channel I think still is monetized, so they're probably still making money off of their stuff. They still post stuff on YouTube. Um, they make content on Rumble, and apparently like Rumble like allows them to have subs, because they're like, video where they're talking about the situation, they were saying that they were like heavily encouraging their fans to sub to their Rumble account, because they're making some big changes. They're being forced to move because they record in Myron's apartment, and apparently his landlord is not down for that shit. I mean, considering all the like crazy shit that's happened at that apartment,
And all the
yeah,
people that they have in coming through there, was it they run it like 3 times a week?
yeah, at least
And I would assume the operation is not quiet.
it's definitely not quiet. So yeah, it for sure is probably a liability for that apartment complex now. So yeah, that makes sense that they have to like find a new place or whatever now. They make enough money, they could just buy a house and then just like record out of there. Then they'll have their own land, and they'll be able to like deal with it that way. But they're making it sound like they're fucking broke. They're not broke. Like in the same video, they're like, hey, yeah, our Money Mondays video where we tell you how to make money. Like, you think people who are broke are giving you money tips, and one, you believe them, two, you should give them money? Like, no, they're fine. I'm pretty sure financially they're fine. They have 20 employees, and they try to like use that as like a pain point. We have to pay all of them. Why do you have 20 employees for a YouTube channel? Like,
Which
why do you?
it makes sense due to the simple volume of content that they make. You know,
Nah, half those people, maybe, but like 20? You have at least 5 people who are doing nothing most of the time, like most likely.
that's true. But you'll probably, if I had to assume, they probably have a couple people who are in charge of booking, getting people guests, doing all the lodging, and because I'm sure they fly some of
That's
these
like
people in and out. I'm sure they do.
that's like 1 or 2 people,
And
to
then
be honest.
for some reason, I mean, we've seen this even in the industry that we work in. Some people are incompetent, so they need like 8 people to do like tech support.
Bro,
You
fire
know what
them.
I'm
Like what?
talking. You know I'm.
I know exactly what you're talking about. But like, they started their operation with like a lot less people, and then hired more people for reasons unknown. It seems
And the other
like they
reason
say,
why I think that they're counting people that like they hire routinely to do things like a photographer, because it seems like they always have cameras wherever they go. And I was like, they don't count. Like I wouldn't count them because they can only work like probably only have them like 2 days a week. But
right,
I'm sure when they count them, they're stretching to get to that 20 number.
100%. Like, so using that as a pain point to get your subscribers to like give you money is strange because
It's
like they're
like
not
doing
broke.
because unfortunately you might have to do what every other industry job does. Layoffs. Hey man, there's no room in the budget for you anymore, Chief. You gotta go. Good luck on your future endeavors.
Exactly. So even though they're making it seem like it's the fresh and fit is over party over here, it's most likely not. We all know that, but like they will be forgotten very soon. Going to Rumble is pretty much where you go to be forgotten because you're just in there with all the people who are like they canceled me and I don't like the fact that I can't say the R word live on my podcast, that sort of shit. And not everyone wants to like listen to that, deal with that, whatever. Usually that kind of content is like it's like one-off type of thing. Like they have one episode that's good, everything else is just very boring, like milk toast opinions on things. Crowder is on there. That guy.
What are they doing
Anyways,
with him, man? Is that because I feel like he showed up, he was loud for a while, and then
there is a scandal that he possibly cheated on his wife. He is saying no, I had sex with those women after my wife and I separated. There's of course the separation thing. There is the workplace harassment stuff that's coming out about him, where he just for some reason really likes showing his dick to his male coworkers.
Man, it's like Linus Tech Tips all over again.
Oh shit! That that is something we should have put on the docket. I forgot about the Linus Tech Tips thing. That's funny. Also, that it's just like they've just been like I don't know, lazy and awful, and it's affecting you guys, the people who are buying the products. Because that sort of thing. But Crowder has been losing subscribers like I don't know daily now. People have been like doing the math, and he's been losing like hundreds of thousands of subscribers now. Plus, he's on Rumble, which obviously like dilutes his subscriber base a huge bit because Rumble is like one of those platforms where it's like you have to like even like understand that it exists in order to like consume the content there. Most people don't know about Rumble. Most people don't go to Rumble. If you're going there, you're going there specifically to like see a content creator, and usually it's like someone who's like they canceled me because they didn't like that I had a different opinion than them, and it's usually they're just like saying Jews run the media or some dumb shit like that, Crowder is now doing drama content. He's talking shit about Logan Paul's girlfriend. Yes.
All right.
Yes. Fresh and Fit has gone full racist. Putting on John Zerka, who like has always just made content through being like controversial, and now it's just kind of sad because that dude is like almost 40 apparently. You have Sneeko, who we all know about that. Sneeko, the chair, we all know that. Just Pearly Things, who started off as someone who literally was like, these guys got mad that I had a boyfriend when I showed up to their podcast the second time and implied that I should sleep with them and stuff, and bash their content, and then just started making the same shit. But she's not smart enough to do it right.
Because like it's like when you see someone take the shell of what you're supposed to do without the secret sauce.
Right.
It's like, yeah, man, I made a whole restaurant. What do you sell? Burgers. Oh, what's special about your burger? Special. Oh no, baby, I made a regular burger.
Like it's the same thing. Like they the fucking well, okay. Pearly Things is also in like a similar boat of like she's cozying up with Nick Fuentes. Cozy. She's cozying up with Nick Fuentes, and she's going full anti-Semite. And when people ask her about it, she's like, "Oh, well, they won't allow me. Like, you're not allowed to talk about this sort of thing." And it's like, no. It's just racist. like you're not. It's not that you're not allowed to say it. It's just that when you say it, people are going to criticize you because it's racist and it's awful. It's just awful, untrue things coming from like the dumbest person in the room. Like you can't, whatever. So like they're Fresh and Fade have had them like as guests over and over again. At one point they had Destiny on there for a lot to like, basically debate them and try to like steer them towards like, you should focus on making like reasonable red pill content so that YouTube doesn't like fuck you up, because if anyone knows anything about like getting their deplatformed a lot, it's Destiny. They also had content creator like Pixie. She's like I think more like left leaning like debate streamer.
They kept getting DJ Academics for some reason.
Bro, DJ Academics is like their best friend, and he lives over there in fucking Miami. So like, yeah, they got him on there, and then they like boosted his fucking ego, and I guess they stopped once he got a little too
comfortable.
Right? Yeah, because he's also someone that just says like a lot of really dumb stuff and tries to like convince people that he's smart. Their fan base believes it. Look, I ain't saying shit about that. That's your king over there. Sure, but he's also one of those people that's like somehow still convinced that Tory Lanez is not guilty. So look, the man's going to jail. But fucking Fresh and Fit have just like been aligning themselves with like the absolute wrongest of wrong people to have on your platform if you want YouTube to actually keep you alive. YouTube is not going to give you any sort of leeway, and still somehow they did. When you had like the guy who's literally banned from PayPal for like how anti-Semitic he is and how he's like indoctrinating like young people into becoming like fucking Nazis. Like, come on, man. That's not the person you should be listening to. Someone who's trying to like give you like phrenology information and like trying to give you like stats on why racism is okay. Like, no. No. If it like all rational people will hear those things and be like, what is wrong with you? So you don't.
There's some people who just rationalism is something that just got thrown out the window long ago.
Have you heard about the YouTube channel of the I think it's like there's like a main guy who's at this MMA gym, but like I think the other people who are at the gym also do this for their content, but like when they get into like arguments with people on like Twitter about like like neo-Nazi shit and like racism and stuff like that, they straight up invite the dudes to come over to the gym and fight and like spar or whatever, and these people actually show up and do it. And I was like, I saw one of those videos recently, and like it was a guy who was like, he was a groiper, he was like a Nick Fuentes like stan, and he was saying all kinds of like crazy like anti-Semitic shit to this guy on Twitter, and that guy is a Jewish man. He said he calls it Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh no.
Yeah. But like he invited the guy. He's like, yeah, why don't you come, to my gym and we'll like, have a sparring match and fight it out, And dude was like, well, I used to do some martial arts, so I'll come through there and fight you or whatever. And I mean, it went the way that you thought it would. He got pretty beat up, and was forced to denounce his anti-Semitism. So that's a thing. There was like the main one, and then there was like another one where like some other guy in the gym just like for like the last like 2 minutes of the video, he like came out and there was like, yeah, this other guy also said some anti-Semitic stuff. He's a Sam Hyde fan, and he had like a Sam Hyde shirt and shit like that. And that guy lasted for like a minute, and he got hit so hard that he fell over. He got back out. He's like, no, I'm fine. He got hit one more time, and that was it. he was tossed. Like it was over for him. So yeah, there's content like that all over the place, and it proves to us that like these people are out there, and they're mainly online. Once they get offline, they're not willing to deal with like the real world ramifications of the things that they're saying. Online, you could say, some crazy like racist, anti-Semitic like bullshit, and unfortunately, the most they have to deal with is possibly getting like banned and forced to make like another account for this social media platform. And then they just say the same shit again because it's funny. Oh, yo, yo, yo.
No, yo, 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 yo.
So yeah. Now, Fresh and Fit, they wanted to dive into that little community thinking that it'd be totally fine. They just make some money or whatever. And this is what happens. You get fucking banned. Like you get fucking deplatformed. Like the people who are paying you stop paying you. And it's not the Matrix that's doing it. It's you're just stupid. Like that's simple as that. You're just being stupid. If you're making any sort of money on your platform, to stay within the guidelines of the platform. If you decide that you're not going to do that, then they're going to stop paying you.
Look, once you get a company as big as YouTube or Google or Twitch to look at you and go, hey, but you might fuck our money. Like when you start getting a plethora of people adding you or adding, you're basically your landlords. Hey, bro, this guy's out of pocket, or this girl's going crazy, or what the fuck is this shit? That's a very tough place to be because at any moment they could just push the button. Hey, yo, just cut them out the program, bro. Let's just call it a day.
Right. It's so much easier for them to do that. Like, why would they go to bat for someone who's having like Nick Fuentes on their platform? You know what I mean? That's just bad business all around because now, more than ever, people know who Nick Fuentes is and they know how toxic his rhetoric is. So any business person would just be like, no, get that guy away from us. Simple as that. Like, oh, he's on your platform? You're gone too. Like, you think YouTube like legitimately cares about Fresh and Fit in their content? No. I saw, what is it? FT Signifier like posted a video where he like pointed out that Fresh and Fit did not get deplatformed for misogyny, and the main reason of that is because misogyny is considered to be an opinion on like YouTube or Twitter or anything like that. But that's not something that they're gonna like actively like ban people for because it's considered like a viewpoint and free speech and all that jazz. The moment it becomes like dangerous, like they start promoting like harm, that's when they'll step in and say, whoa, you guys can't do that. But if someone wants to make a YouTube video where they're like, yeah, I really hate girls, they're allowed to do that. And that's not gonna change until it becomes like, oh, I want you to fight girls. And it's like, whoa, that guy needs to get out the platform. But that's it. Like, they're never going to like ban people for misogyny. They're going to ban them for like, inspiring crazy behavior. That's it.
And that's what brings us to the next topic. Have you seen the YouTube content meta? Like how there'll be certain things that happen. And then like everybody not only talks about it, but it feels like there's one person who makes a really solid video.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone just watches that video and then parrots that video, or worse. They just watch that video in front of an audience and call it a reaction video, in which they don't even add anything to the discussion. They don't make it transformative. They just upload. I know it feels like I said the same things like 7 years ago. But
hey,
the point is, they're still doing it.
We skipped React-Gate also. It's actually good that we didn't we weren't making a podcast that week because the XUC and Ethan Klein thing was so stupid. And what did we get? Nothing. I mean, XUC is going to continue to like sit in his chair and watch videos and movies and shit. I mean, we got to see like a lot of people got to see that he is very dumb, but that doesn't matter to his fans. because they're a lot of them are also dumb. I'm not gonna lie. They're dumb or they're kids, and so they either have kid logic or they have dumb guy logic. Choose one. Yeah, it sucks that YouTube is like YouTube promotes that. Like everyone's gonna have like a fresh and fit video where it's like, oh my god, fresh and fit are out of here, and then it's gonna have like a picture of Myron crying as a thumbnail, like, ooh, whatever. Because in the video that Fresh and Fit made, Myron at one point said that saving kids was very good, but saving you guys
was better.
better. And then he started, tearing up and he walked away. That is, clipped and chipped. Everyone is going to use that. That's going to be a reaction. That's, that's the moment of the week that everyone's going to make their videos about, for the most part. And you can't blame them because the algorithm is going to push that for them. Especially if they're like already established content creator, and it's an easy video to make. You just kind of like say, hey, yeah, these guys are shitty or whatever, and then that's it. The problem is you now have to just like choose which content creator you want to consume it from, because most of them are making the same takes. Like I like seeing the ones where someone like tries to make like a more like original take on it, but a lot of these things are like very cut and dry. Like, what are you going to say? What's nuance that you're going to say about Fresh and Fit getting demonetized after so many people looking over there and being like, what the fuck are they doing over there? Oh, all right. Well, I'll just look over here now.
I mean, a lot of the stuff that they did and why they got pushed off is self-explanatory. Like you don't need to be a scientist. You don't need to be an investigative journalist. You can just look over there and be like, okay, yeah, I can see how that could be inflammatory and could basically be looked at and go, yeah, maybe this wasn't the best.
Trump's mugshot came out today. That's like already becoming like the new thing. Like I've already seen like pretty much everyone posting it, and like the mugshot is not like it's not anything.
Did you see the insane dick eats? Like one dude posted a picture, mugshot of Gandhi and Martin Luther King, and saying, look, mugshots are not necessarily the end all be all in determining someone's character. As you can see, it could be the spark of a new era of greatness for this country. Post your hashtag mugshot to join the movement. Let's save America together. And it's this dude standing in front of a brick wall making a fake mugshot. It's like, you people are insane.
Yes, 100%. 100% the people are like, someone was interviewing people outside of Fulton County Jail, and like most of them being asked about like if they saw the debate, if they saw the Trump interview with Tucker Carlson that's on Twitter, all that stuff. Most people didn't really have anything constructive to say about it. They were just like, he's just so brave, being so honest and answering all those questions. And it's like, as opposed to what? Showing up to this thing and then saying nothing? Like, it's strange what people will like put in their brains in order to defend like nonsense. But the mugshot is everywhere from people who are like, yeah, seriously, I'm right. But the mugshot itself is whatever. We all knew this was coming. It's nice that he got the mugshot and shit like that, but I'm not going to care or like be excited or whatever until you get that conviction that says he has been convicted of this crime.
Yeah, until they say your next destination is behind bars. I'm just assuming until then, until I see that, he's just getting a slap on the wrist and gonna be, don't do that, Bam Bam, don't do that. That's basically essentially the lengths of the punishment that he's going to receive in my mind.
Luckily, the evidence against him is very strong, but like you got to remember that Mike Pence is like the star witness for one of these convictions, and he's like literally said at the debate that he's gonna like ensure that to the best of his abilities that Trump does not get convicted for any of these crimes. And it's like
he's going to cook the books, so to speak.
It's like it's like, sir, what did you just say? Like,
are you aware?
Oh, craziness, man. It's crazy. Like, everyone, okay, like I get that, like it's easy to make YouTube videos about like the biggest moment and stuff like that. You know, even I'm just like, you know what, I could just make like a 2 minute like Fresh and Fit video that's just like, yeah, Fresh and Fit got thrown into YouTube jail, yeah, but they're still making content, you know, and then that's it. And maybe with a good enough thumbnail and title, the algorithm will like throw that everywhere. And now I'm the new big YouTuber. That's right, me. You know, whatever. But it just makes the platform like less entertaining. Like now you have to dig to find like really good videos because you're getting thrown all these like fucking videos that are about the same thing.
I'm genuinely shocked there's as many Mr. Beast clones as there are. And it's just like, how are you trying to emulate his formula when you can't emulate his bank account, bro?
Exactly. I mean, did you see his latest video where he's like, I got one person of every country to represent them in this like fake Olympics that I made? And it's like, yeah, how am I'm going to copy that? I don't have the money for like 25% of what he did in that video. Like, you think I'm going to make that same video myself? No, thank you. Using Mr. Beast like his fucking thumbnail style, I hate that too. I hate that every content creator has to be like, you know, in their fucking thumbnails in order for people like, whoa.
It's like, otherwise, you know, they're not clicking on it.
Like, it sucks. But, you know, luckily there's still like, you know, niche communities for, you know, whatever it is you're interested in, and YouTube content creators who will like make content for pretty much anything that you're interested in. But you gotta like hunt to find them now. So eventually your algorithm will like tailor to you and like give you a lot of those things. But you know, you'll also see like big YouTuber who comes out and is like, Fresh and Fit is over. You know, so you just choose the video choose the content creator that you like, watch the video, hope it's good enough. Simple as that. Like, holy shit, I just saw a fucking thing pop up. Is like Evo 2023 highlights, and like the main picture is Taquito going up to the camera with that like product that he was like that he was pushing. And you're like, and then a picture on the side is two cosplayers of Street Fighter characters just making out. I don't remember that happening at Evo, but I guess it did happen.
I guess do what you want, man.
Yep. The meta is strange. You're either Mr. Beast making like $10 billion video doing crazy, wild shit, or you're talking about the current, you know, thing that we're all going to forget in like a week.
But I mean, that's content. Sometimes you, like I said, I think this is a good way to describe the content meta. There are you got to find a balance between the videos you have to make and the videos you want to make. And sometimes the videos you want to make have to take a back seat to the videos that you have to make, because there's sometimes it's like, hey man, if you cover news, even though you may not give a shit about this game, this story's too big for you to pass up.
Yeah.
Now there's some people I know damn well ain't never played a Bayonetta in their life. As soon as that voice actress thing happened, all of a sudden they had 3 or 4 Bayonetta videos. And it's like, I get it. Sometimes you have to talk about those things because that's what people are going to be searching for that week. And why would you throw away easy SEO? Easy discovery through search. And you just have to make sure that your video is quality. Now, a lot of these people, they definitely phoned it in, especially you could tell when it's a subject they didn't care about.
Yeah, but you know, they have editors and whatnot who can like, you know, fancy up the video to make it like eye-catching enough for you to not care.
Yep. Otherwise, hit your thumbnail face again. Oh, what? But that being said, I think that's about it for this week, ain't it?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, we didn't really talk about the Mortal Kombat and Tekken stuff, but we don't have to today. Like, there will be more to come. What is it? Tekken got
An
an
announcement for its
announcement.
day,
Yeah,
which is like what,
it's
January 2024.
yeah, January 24th, I think, 2024, something like that. So Tekken 8 is coming out in January. Smart. Mortal Kombat 1 revealed that Sindel and Shao Kahn are going to be in the game, and then also Mataro is going to be an assist. And the Combat Cast came out today showing more information on like Sindel and Rain, and maybe there's one other character I don't remember, but like
No, when it came to
yeah,
Sindel, super goobed. They just gave her stuff because they could give her stuff, which I mean that's one way to design a game. I
I'm
mean,
not gonna lie, that's
I'll take that over whatever the hell Dragon Ball Fighters is cooking right now.
oh boy. The Sindel trailer kind of pushing me to like buy, Mortal Kombat Day One because I'm still kind of on the fence, but I'm kind of thinking maybe Day One. But there are more characters to be announced, which means we don't have to talk about that game until the next character trailer that comes out because it's coming out next month.
True.
Still baffles me. It's coming out in like a couple of fucking weeks, man. Like, holy shit. And they're just now telling us about the like single player mode that's going to be in it and stuff like that. Like what the fuck? I wish we went back to the old days of like, tell me all the things that are going to be in the game up front so I can be excited about it for like months instead of just being like, here's one character that's going to be in the game. Aren't you excited? We still have more characters to reveal. It's like, bro, are you going to tell me like the last character that's going to be in the base roster like the day before the game comes out? Is this going to be a what's her face from Face Day Night being in Melty Blood situation where it's like I got to rely on someone getting the game early to be like, holy shit, oh, this character's in the game.
Who would have ever thought?
Like, come on, man. Just let me be hype about the things that are going to be in the game instead of like the possibility that Sony is going to be in the base roster, even though probably not.
Nah, I think them casting her as Ronda Rousey, I think that was enough of a Debbie Downer where if she sat out a game, I wouldn't miss it.
No. Give me real Sonya, not Ronda Rousey Sonya. Like, come on, man. Come on, man.
She didn't even have leg drop or not leg grab.
Exactly. She didn't even have leg grab. Like, come on, bro.
Not my Sonya.
Not my Sonya. Lee May is going to be the love interest of Johnny Cage, apparently. So,
look, there are leaks out there. I have read none of them. I don't want to know any of them, so I don't want to see any of them. Now, I can only assume that, but I've seen 2 voice lines, and he's flirting with like all the women, and they're flirting back, which is the weird thing. But
yep.
I digress. Maybe Johnny has actual charm in this game. Maybe he's got the real Riz. But anyways, as always, you guys be safe, enjoy yourselves, and we will see you guys next time.